I am Philip Schatz. I am co-owner and now owner of Erasmus Books, a secondhand bookstore here in South Bend. I am a community involved person. I'm also a landlord, renting space to graduate students for the last 30 years, and it's interesting to figure out how to do that, and it's been a most enjoyable process. Well, Lee, I think maybe at first I just heard that there was this curious theater downtown. How could this be? I don't even know of this. Hidden in a special space, and I gradually found where it was and found that I could go to something which I wasn't familiar with, which is a reading. I didn't know about this phenomenon of having readings of plays, and I found that I could go to a reading rather frequently and be exposed to theater that I wasn't aware of, and therefore met actors and saw, began to understand that theater has many lives, and one of them is the importance of the script, and it was lovely to see people reading, but reading is sort of a misnomer, because actually there's a fair amount of acting that's involved in a reading, and here was something monthly that I could go to when I was thrilled, I have to say. Melissa, the director of this operation, asked me if I would be a reader for the theater, and I had to confess that I didn't even know how that worked. And we went and got a beer and talked about it, and I realized that many plays were considered in a given year, and they had to be then winnowed down to a number that's manageable, which is quite a few actually, 20-some performances by the Acting Ensemble in a given year. Many of those readings, and then some of those fully staged productions. And I said, of course, I would love to be a part of this and see how things are actually chosen. And so I'm maybe in my third year of such involvement, which is fun. And Lee, yourself, of course, on this committee. It's in its own right kind of surprising. We're given many plays, 70 or so plays, and asked to narrow that down to 20 some, and it's a process that can take the spring or the summer or a fair amount of time. An ensemble is a fairly tight-knit group of people, even though it's kind of loosely organized, because theater people are geeks just like they were when you remember them in high school, and they're wonderfully creative people who float around and appear and seem to disappear and all that. But there is a core, and the core means that you get to see some of the same people through the course of a year and several years, doing many different kinds of, taking on different kinds of roles, asking of themselves different kinds of demands, and it's amazing to watch this happen. And the directing is also taken on by people who take on a thankless task of shepherding these odd cats through a performance, and it's rather amazing to be up close to that. Well, the hope, Lee, that I have involves creative minds who are sitting at home, perhaps writing about this experience, composing music about this experience, writing poems about this experience, writing plays about this experience. So I think we can count on the fact that that is happening. But in the meantime, we've had 8 months of being away from each other, not having the experience of theater that we have come to enjoy, not being encouraged by community efforts to remember that community is what often makes human beings be our best selves. And so we've been away from that, and we've had a campaign, and we've had an election, and we've had a time fraught with the childish responses of our current president, and all of that makes for a lot of anxiety. And so creativity is perhaps needed, but not entirely available. And the fact that you're doing this is wonderful. If you have not been fortunate enough to attend an acting ensemble performance, please promise yourself that you will do so. And if you have attended one, you know what fun they are. Now we're in a new space. I don't know if you can tell that I'm surrounded by actually boards and broken tiles and wallboard that leads to nothing. And all this needs to get put together. And of course you can count on theater people putting it together in a clever way, but we need to be able to afford this. And won't you please help us do that? And see you in the theater soon, I hope.